Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are reviewing Sonic Frontiers. I'm about 6 hours into this game, and honestly, as an avid Sonic fan, I'm going to say this is probably the best Sonic game to come out in maybe the past 2 decades. Definitely not better than like Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. Um, Maybe as good as Colors though, or Unleashed for sure. Couple things to note with this game. It is a open world esque Sonic game or open platform or whatever they wanted to call it. Reminds me, I mean, kind of like Breath of the Wild. Almost feels like the similar engines. Um, the platforming is great. I've read a lot of criticisms where people have said that like it is very like not linear, but like there's just a bunch of scattered like tubes and pipes and railings just everywhere, and I really disagree with that. I think that like again, it definitely wants you to go in certain directions, and it's like there isn't a ton just scattered everywhere. But I feel like if there was, it would just kind of like ruin the game a little bit, just because it'd be too much. And I mean, there's so how it works is like there's an overworld, kind of like with every game, and then there's traditional Sonic levels once you've collected enough pieces. Reminds me a lot of like an Ubisoft game or a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild game, where you're kind of just wandering the overworld until you find like keys and gears, and you get gears by defeating like monsters. And there's a lot of boss monsters. Reminds me a lot of Shadow of the Colossus. If you played Shadow of the Colossus, it reminds me a ton of that. For example, where it's just there'll be giant open spaced landscapes and then a huge boss monster, kind of like what you're seeing here. There's like a boss monster, a little. He's not like a boss monster, but you know he's a monster. He'll give you a gear once you defeat him, and then you take those gears to the chair, and then you can unlock different worlds, and those worlds, not worlds, but you unlock different stages, and the stages give you, uh, different cutscenes and stuff. I will say, outside of like Doctor Eggman and the new character who I don't want to spoil anything about, there really isn't too much interaction between the other Sonic characters. Kind of just because they're not here, they've phased in and out of existence, kind of like a little digital glitch. Um, but yeah, no, I think the game is pretty great. I'm honestly really loving it. I think that you should definitely get this over God
So
of
what you're
War
telling me
Ragnarok.
is the best character, Tails, is not in the game.
No, Tails is not in this game. I
0 out of 10.
not 0 out of 10, but I will say that you should probably get this. Listen, everybody's gonna be talking about God of War Ragnarok this, God of War Ragnarok that.
Well, yeah,
Be
because
a
it's
little
also
bit
a better
different.
game.
No, be a little bit different. Go for the Sonic. If you can only buy one, I'm gonna recommend Sonic. I also bought God of War Ragnarok, but right now I'm playing Sonic Frontier, and I think it's pretty great. I think it's very enjoyable, very addictive. You kind of just never want to stop, like put the controller down. Like it's darn near close to 1 a.m. here, and I haven't stopped playing it all day since I got the game, just because it is so good. There's like little different puzzles scattered around the world as well as mini bosses and giant bosses. And I mean, honestly, it's just so much fun. Like I don't know, there's just different things all over the place. I don't think it's very empty. Like that's up for you to decide. But like to me, I think if you like traditional like 3D Sonic gameplay and you've been looking for something that's not too like glitchy or all over the place, and you're looking for like the first kind of really good step into 3D since honestly like 2006. Sonic 06 was a masterpiece. So was Shadow the Hedgehog. Both perfect games. Like
Sonic 06 is
Sonic 06 had no glitches at all. But I would recommend this, especially. So I'd give it 2 scores. I'd say that if you're a Sonic fan, this is probably an 8 out of 10. It's kind of all you could ask for, really. I mean, you're not going to be bored. You're going to love this, and it's kind of what you've been waiting for. If you're not, I'd say it's a straight up, probably the most 7.5 game you could ever play, where it is a straight good. It's not great. It's not like off the wall amazing, but it is good. Now the
Yeah, you're trying to
problem,
compare it to fucking God of War. Stop that.
listen, it's better than God of War. Uh, the problems with the game is that like, so I'm playing on the PlayStation 4. Maybe it's a little bit different if you're playing on the PlayStation 5, but like every single 3D Sonic game, sometimes you'll just be fighting a boss, and all of a sudden your character will fly like 500 feet in the air in the opposite direction of the boss for no explainable reason. Sometimes you'll make a perfect jump, and just because it's a Sonic game, your character will go flying in the wrong direction. It will cause you to have to restart. Sometimes things just pop into existence out of absolutely nowhere. You'll be, just enjoying yourself riding the rail.
Consoles.
Yeah, it's because I think it's just because the consoles really can't handle with how fast the game is, plus how good the graphics are. But like, it just you'll be riding on a rail, and then there will be like nothing there, and like you see here, you see those platforms.
This game looks pretty bad to me because it like Sonic's design with the realistic world stands out a lot. Like
Now,
they made it like they cell shaded it and made it like a cartoony a little bit. I think it would be much better.
so the levels are cartoony. The outer world, so the thing is, this is a distorted world. Like this is like a dark, Sonic is the only person here. This is a distorted world. Now there are levels that are super cartoony. They're not shown here, but there's like the Green Hill Zone traditionally, and all of the like solo levels are very like cartoony, very like fast paced and colorful and bright. This is supposed to be more dark and macabre and dreary because it's just Sonic. Like he's kind of trapped here.
You could still do dark and dreary without having making everything like realistic.
I don't know. I really like it. I think it's a nice change of pace because I've never seen Sonic like this before, and I think it really adds to the like sad texture. But I mean, it is good to hear from somebody who's not like a super diehard Sonic fan to hear their opinion on things. But also, this is only like one part, so like there's other parts of the island that look very like colorful and bright. This is just the more sad aspect of it. But yeah, now the pop-ins are a little bit of a problem. The same thing that like every Sonic game has is a little bit of a problem where he just kind of flies all over the place. The last problem would probably be, it's just there's a lot of collecting to do, and if you're somebody like me who's pretty OCD when it comes to playing games, it's like you're just gonna have to go everywhere, and there's gonna be so much, and the game doesn't really give you a great like waypoint or anything. It's just like, oh. So sometimes it's really hard to figure out where exactly you need to go, or like what rails and stuff you're supposed to grind on, or I mean, the bosses and stuff are pretty easy to figure out, but it's just like certain things you kind of have to do, and it's like you'll just have to pick up on it, kind of like a Tony Hawk game where it's like it doesn't explicitly tell you if you ever play like underground and stuff, like what I guess it does tell you like what you need to grind on, but this doesn't. It's just imagine if it didn't tell you like what you needed to grind on or how many kickflips you need to do, and you're just expected to know that. That's what kind of happens here. What else? Any more negatives I can think of before I no, because the best part of the game is definitely the boss fight. The boss fights are incredible. The like fighting mechanics in general in this game are great. There's a very like easy like normal. Thank you IGN by the way for the footage. Let's see some 5 minutes more of like some high speed Sonic gameplay. Actually, this one's gonna show you like you see the level overworld here. Like, see, this is an actual level, and you see how it's very bright and colorful.
Another thing, I don't like the filter, like the little filter they have over it. I don't know the exact word for it, but maybe it's just the lighting.
I believe it's just IGN's footage, but like, no. So the best part of the game though is definitely these levels. Once you actually get into the levels, they're super addictive and super fun. There are like 2 of them. Actually, the second level, this one right here, is the hardest one in the game, in my opinion, to get like a perfect S rank on. I'm not the greatest at video games, but even I've gotten like 3 S ranks so far. This is the only one that I really can't do, and it's extremely hard. But the rest of them are pretty easy. If it's a traditional Sonic game, but the boss fights are incredible. They're huge Goliath monsters, and they're just so fun to play. The levels are so fun to play through. The only downside is maybe the overworld. I don't feel like they needed to add a bunch more there, but I do feel like it could have done a better job of just directing you. Yeah, it's Chemical Zone. Or at least I would equate this to Chemical Zone.
I mean, the pipes look like Chemical Zone.
It does look like Chemical Zone. But yeah, no. So I'm gonna give this an overall score of 7.5. I think this is a really good game, especially for Sonic. This is like one of the best Sonic games. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.